Hello and welcome. Today, we are diving into one of the most elegant pieces of machinery in the entire human body, the shoulder. You know, it's a true marvel of natural engineering, and it actually has the greatest range of motion of any joint you have. But how on earth does it do that? Well, let's find out. So, what is it that gives us this superpower of movement? I mean, think about it for a second. Your knee, that's basically just a hinge. It goes back and forth. But your shoulder, wow, it lets you move your arm up, down, forward, back, and in a complete circle? How is that even possible? Before we get into the how of it all, we really need to appreciate the what. So this first part is all about exploring the incredible, and I mean incredible, range of movements the shoulder joint allows. This really sets the stage for everything else we're going to talk about. The shoulder's design allows for this just stunning variety of actions. You've got flexion and extension, that's just moving your arm forward and backward. Then there's abduction and adduction, fancy words for lifting your arm out to the side and bringing it back toward your body. And of course, you've got rotation. Now, when you put all of that together, you get what's called circumduction. And that's the whole shebang, the full 360-degree circle. It is, without a doubt, the most mobile joint we have. So how is all of this incredible motion possible? Well, the foundation, like with any great structure, starts with the bones. And you see, the shoulder isn't just one simple connection point. It's a pretty complex intersection of three key players. So those three players are the humerus, which is your upper arm bone, the scapula, which you probably know as your shoulder blade, and the clavicle, or your collarbone. These three bones all come together to create the structure we call the shoulder girdle. Okay, but the main event, the real star of the show, is the glenohumeral joint. This is the ball and socket joint you always hear about. The ball is that round head of your humerus, and the socket, well, it's a super shallow dish on your scapula called the glenoid cavity. You know, there is an almost perfect analogy for how the shoulder is designed. Just picture a golf ball sitting on a tee. The ball, that's the head of your humerus, is really large compared to the tiny, shallow tee, the glenoid socket that it rests on. And that right there, that image, it perfectly illustrates the fundamental trade-off of the shoulder. That whole golf ball on a tee design gives you that amazing, incredible range of motion, but it comes at a cost. It's naturally unstable. I mean, unlike your hip joint, which has a really deep, secure socket, the shoulder has to rely on a bunch of other things to keep it in place. So, if the bones don't provide a lot of stability, what does? Well, that's where we meet the connectors and cushions. These are the soft tissues that are really the unsung heroes of the shoulder, providing all the support that the bones are missing. This support system is pretty amazing. You've got the joint capsule, which is basically a sack of ligaments that wraps around the whole joint. Then there's a little ring of cartilage called the labrum. What it does is act like a bumper, making that shallow socket tee a little deeper so the ball has a better fit. And you've also got these fluid-filled sacs called bursae that act like little cushions to reduce friction between all the moving parts. But the real superstars, the A-team of shoulder stability, are a group of 4 muscles that work in perfect harmony. We're talking about the rotator cuff, a team that has 2 jobs, powering your arm and protecting the joints. Honestly, the best way to think of these 4 muscles is as a team that literally hugs the shoulder joint. Their tendons wrap around the head of the humerus, forming a cuff, and their main job is to actively hold that golf ball securely on the tee while you're moving around. So here's the lineup. You've got the supraspinatus on top, which helps lift your arm. In the back, you have the infraspinatus and teres minor, and they rotate your arm outward. And then up front is the subscapularis, which rotates your arm inward. Actually, you can feel them right now if you just hold your arm out to the side and rotate it back and forth. Yep, you're feeling that team at work. So it's really crucial to know that this team has 3 big jobs. First, stabilization. They're always a little tense, just keeping the joint centered. Second is something with a cool name, concavity compression. This just means that when you lift your arm, they pull the ball deeper into the socket, making the whole movement stronger. And finally, of course, they actually do the moving, the lifting and rotating. Okay, so now we have to talk about the flip side of all that incredible mobility. Because the shoulder chose movement over stability, it's one of the most frequently injured joints in the entire body. This is where that trade-off we talked about gets very, very real. Let's look at 2 of the most common big injuries. A dislocation is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. The ball gets forced completely out of the socket. In our analogy, the golf ball has fallen right off the tee. A rotator cuff tear, on the other hand, is an injury to the muscles and tendons themselves. Here, the team that's holding the ball in place has been damaged, and that weakens the whole structure. And of course, there are plenty of other common problems. You can get impingement, which is when tendons get pinched in a tight space. Bursitis is when those little cushiony sacs get inflamed and angry. Frozen shoulder is when the whole joint capsule tightens up and gets stiff, which really limits your motion. And just like any other joint, the shoulder can get osteoarthritis from just the wear and tear of living life. Now, before we wrap this up, a very quick but very important note. This is all for educational purposes. We're just exploring how the body works. If you are having shoulder pain or you're concerned about your health, please always go see a qualified healthcare professional. They can give you an accurate diagnosis and a real treatment plan. Okay, let's bring it all home. We have covered a lot of ground. So let's do a quick summary of the 5 most important things to remember about your absolutely amazing shoulder joint. Let's just quickly recap the 5 key points that really make the shoulder so incredibly unique. Number 1, it is the most mobile joint in your body, period. 2, its whole golf ball on a tee structure is the secret to that mobility, but it's also its greatest weakness. 3, the stability doesn't come from the bones, it comes from the soft tissues. 4, that rotator cuff team of muscles is the absolute MVP, giving you both movement and stability. And number 5, that amazing mobility is the very thing that makes it so easy to injure. It's a beautifully designed but delicate compromise. So I'm going to leave you with this thought. The next time you reach up to grab something from a shelf or throw a ball or even just scratch your back, maybe you'll pause for just a second. And maybe you'll have a newfound appreciation for that complex, delicate, and truly incredible little machine that makes every single one of those simple movements possible. Thanks for joining me.